Right now, there's still the possibility that the repeal and replacement of Obamacare could go through. And under the current version of the Republican bill, protections for pre-existing conditions have been largely made irrelevant. That's something that most Americans don't actually support. But there's a certain Republican Congressman, Mo Brooks, who doesn't really get what all the fuss is about. And he has a very interesting argument to back that up, which you're going to see in this clip.
My understanding is that it will allow insurance companies to require people who have higher health care costs to contribute more to the insurance pool that helps offset all these costs, thereby reducing the cost to those people who lead good lives, they're healthy, they've done the things to keep their bodies healthy. And right now, those are the people who've done things the right way that are seeing their costs skyrocketing. Now, in fairness, a lot of these people with pre-existing conditions, they have those conditions through no fault of their own. And I think our society under those circumstances needs to help.
So he acknowledges that some of these pre-existing conditions are not caused by your sinful ways. You simply are born with them or you develop them through the act of living. And our society should protect those people. So I would say to him, then leave the protection the way it is, because that's what the bill actually does. It protects those people. Like, there are babies who are born with congenital heart defects or cancer as they're born, all of those things. And currently they are protected. They can get health insurance and it's relatively affordable. Under the new bill, their premiums could be jacked up. There was one of the treatments for cancer, an analysis showed that it could end up costing more than $150,000, and it's currently a couple $1,000s under this. And so if he's being honest and he actually believes we should protect these people, then he can't possibly defend this bill.
How do we discuss morally corrupt principles of, like, if you've done all you can and something happens to you and you are screwed from something, oh well, you know what? Yeah, we have this country we call great, but we're not going to care about you whatsoever. Let you go about your way. Like, I don't know how we. I'm ashamed.
Yeah, and that's the party family values too.
And just on a practical level, last I checked, which as of an hour or so ago, there were 20 House Republicans who are firm no's on the bill, which seems to indicate that the margin might even be even more lopsided this time around in terms of the bill failing to get through the Republican caucus as it was a couple weeks ago. You even have staunch conservatives like Billy Long, a congressman from Missouri, Don Young, congressman from Arkansas, who are opposed either firmly or leaning that they're opposed. So it seems like this is sort of a fanciful notion that this could even get through the House, never mind the Senate. So I think the way that the pre-existing condition issue is personalized is just sort of going to impede the Republicans' ability to get anything resembling this current iteration of the bill through.
That's a good point. It seems like with maybe this medical issue that we can finally get people to understand that did vote for Trump because they are economically impoverished and oppressed in a certain way, that we aren't different teams. Like, go out there and convince your congressman that this is what needs to be changed because this directly affects you. Maybe you can't see that whole big picture and how the system interacts, but this is a primary example of how they're separating all of us at the bottom and just oppressing us as a group, and we are the same team.
Trying to pit us against each other. Yeah, and I'm glad. I mean, I'm always shocked when they stand up and actually do vote against something like this, but perhaps it's just that protecting those with pre-existing conditions is one of the most popular things that's been passed under Obama. It seemed insane to me that they couldn't pass the original version of the bill. And so they changed it up to strip out protections for all the most popular parts of it. And that was their strategy to get it passed, to convince moderates to go ahead. Now, they did get some of the Freedom Caucus and all that. They got all that, but they still need some of those moderates, and so far they don't seem to be able to convince them.
It's ironic because this whole process sort of vindicates one of the conservative criticisms of Obamacare when it was originally being considered in 2009, which was that once you have an entitlement program in place, it's very, very difficult, if not impossible, to actually repeal it or take it away from people who are benefiting from its services. And that's made manifest by even Republicans from some of the most conservative districts in the country not being willing to relinquish one of these protections for their constituents.
Exactly, yeah, you're right. I mean, historically it seems like the only way you can get around that is if it's a quote unquote entitlement program that generally only affects the poor. Then you can strip money out of it theoretically. But yeah, thankfully it seems like there's broad approval of these sorts of things currently around the country.
Corporate media is awesome.
Wrong.
Independent media is the way to go.
Believe me, believe me.
Support independent media right now. Become a Young Turks member. TYTnetwork.com/join.